but he's very raw, and he does have a tendency to get in foul trouble, and tonight he has to stay out of foul trouble.
Ball's in the center circle. It's tipped back, and it's controlled by the Bengals' Jake O'Neal. 63rd meeting here at Reed Gymnasium between these two, or here in Pocatello anyway, and the teams are 31 and 31 in the previous 62. Here's Isaiah Griffin. Out on top, Hollenbeck. Swing it to the left wing. Dylan Darling, the point guard out of Spokane, Washington. He'll dump it down the baseline, and it's taken away. Mishandled by Hollenbeck, taken away by Alex Chu. Chu from Cheshire, England.
Not a great pass by Dylan Darling.
Here is Miguel Tomley, left wing three, not good, and Otten up for the rebound. And as we said, the former Bengal, Miguel Tomley, played his last 2 seasons here. Underneath they go, Jake O'Neal, great pass cutting along the baseline, and Jake O'Neal gives the Bengals a 2-0 lead on a great pass by Dylan Darling.
Jake O'Neal has given the Bengals everything they hoped for: toughness, rebounding, defending, but he's also played much better offensively than I think even Ryan Looney expected.
Averaging almost 14 points per game. Here's Tomley. He'll work in front of our broadcast position. Down the baseline, that's Vasilije Vucinic. He'll dump it underneath. Getting away there is Koehler. Here's Tomley. Up fakes. Shot partially blocked, and a shot clock violation. And this is what Idaho State has got to do. They have got to play on the defensive end every possession.
Yeah, they really struggled at Northern Colorado. They played well enough offensively to beat just about anybody, but they gave up way too many easy shots to the Bears in Greeley.
60 points in the paint and 25 layups.
That'll get you beat.
2-0 Bengals here. Here's Hollenbeck out on top. That's Evan Otten. Cuts it back now to Dylan Darling. Darling comes off the screen, cuts into the paint, nowhere to go. Brings it back out to Hollenbeck. He'll drive left side of the lane. Scoop on the baseline. 5 to shoot for Idaho State. Bengals up against it, mishandled. O'Neal's going to get the shot away, and it's not good. It's tipped, and it'll finally be taken out of there by Dyson Koehler of the Wildcats. Koehler out of Draper, Utah.
Koehler's been bothered by an ankle injury during the season, just getting back into the rhythm. He had 13 points in the first half against NAU.
Here's Vucinic on a nice move. He made a nice spin move on the baseline off that left block, and Vasilije Vucinic ties the game at 2 apiece.
He's a transfer from the University of Portland. Started the last 6 games, really starting to get into a rhythm. 19 points against NAU. He's shooting 65% from the field.
Yeah, that's if you shoot 65% from the field, you're going to get the ball a lot. Your coach is going to trust you. Here is Darling into the paint. Bounce pass, cutting off the wing. O'Neal got inside, had the ball taken away. They wanted to foul. Bengals coaching staff didn't get it. Tomley mishandles the dribble, recontrols, and brings it out to 3. Plays 3 to his dad, Sadeo 3. Played about 10 years or so in the NBA.
Started his career at Colorado Mesa.
Here is an up fake by Tomley, and Jake O'Neal wasn't buying it. And there's a steal. Vucinic made that spin move again, and this time Dylan Darling picked his pocket, drives it to the rack, lays it up and in.
Great help defense by Dylan Darling, a little 6'1" point guard for the Bengals. He is a transfer from Washington State.
And good to see him healthy. He had that ankle injury, that sprained ankle before
Missed
Christmas.
2 games before Christmas.
And almost a month. And that, if you heard Ryan Looney in our radio pregame show, that was part of the problem down at NAU. The Bengals hadn't played, and they were just rusty. Here is a corner 3 far side, and that's good for Miguel Tomley. And he holds up the 3 fingers with each hand to signal the fact that he's just hit a 3 and given Weber State their first lead of the game. 5-4 Wildcats. Darling pull up, 18-footer straight away, rattles home. And Dylan Darling gives the lead back to Idaho State here.
I think that 3-pointer was by Koehler, Scott.
Oh, was it Koehler?
Yeah.
The way Miguel was reacting, I thought he had knocked that down. I couldn't see. We were screened out in front of us here. So we'll give credit where it's due. Dyson Koehler with the triple. Tomley drives, throws it away. Vucinic was not looking for it. And now Idaho State with a chance to extend. Corner 3, a little bit too long by Isaiah Griffin. The rebound was tipped, controlled by Chu. Ahead up on the right side here to Koehler, and back to the center circle, and 3. Plays 3, one of the guys that had to kind of operate in the shadow of Dylan Jones last year there at Weber State. Chu, nice turnaround hook shot. That was good defense by Hollenbeck, just a better shot by Chu.
Chu at 6'10", and a long reach, able to just flip that ball over the top of the 6'7" Hollenbeck.
Dylan Darling working against Miguel Tomley. Pull-up jumper 15 feet straight away. And apparently Dylan Darling is feeling it tonight. He's got 6 of the first 8 points for Idaho State. And here we go in a seesaw affair. 4 lead changes already. Here's Koehler, right side, out on top. Now swing it over to Threet. Down on the left block, Vucinic. There's that spin move again. And he goes to his right very well and got away from Evan Otten with ease.
And you got to have help down there. And we saw Dylan Darling help out earlier, snuck in and stole the ball away, but no help on that play.
There's a high screen by Otten, freeing up Dylan Darling. Here's a step back 3. Bang! Dylan Darling with the first MACU three-pointer of the year. Mountain America Credit Union supports ISU athletics. MACU helping guide members through life's financial journey and donating $50 to Operation Warm in East Idaho for every Bengal three-pointer. So it's an 11-9 Idaho State lead, and on the other end,
Threet ties it up.
Yep, Threet did tie it up. And going to have a foul whistled against Connor Hollenbeck. So that'll be the first on Connor, first against the Bengals.
Threet is one of the best rebounding teams in the nation. They have led the nation in rebounding margin off and on all season. They're second in the nation in rebounding margin right now. And uncharacteristically, they have been out-rebounded 3-1 so far in this game.
They have, but they're shooting the ball pretty well. Idaho State's 5 of their first 8, while Weber is 5 of their first 7. So both teams shooting at a high clip here. And Dylan Darling, he's got a career high, or a season high, 22 for Idaho State. He's already almost halfway there with 8. Here is a pull-up jump shot, and that's good by Isaiah Griffin. And that's a good sign for the Bengals, Brad. If Isaiah gets going, that's just an extra scoring punch that's going to really help him over the hump.
He has been an inconsistent shooter, but when he gets hot, he can really give them a lift.
Right now, it's going to be Koehler. Kick to the near side. That's Viljami Vartiainen out of Finland, who's checked into the ball game. Inside they go, and going to bring it back out. Koehler hits another 3.
If Koehler is feeling it, that's a good sign for Weber State.
Into the game, that's Nigel Burris, number 5. We talked about him. And then number 8, Viljami Vartiainen, as we said, out of Finland. Played last year as a freshman and was very productive for the Bobcats, or the Wildcats, I should say. Here's Connor Hollenbeck. He'll work left side. Swinging around now on the angle right to Dylan Darling. Darling, bounce pass. Right baseline. Jake O'Neal wants to take Koehler off the dribble. Does. Bounces it inside. And kind of a tough turnover there as coming the other way. Blaze Threet missed the layup. Connor Hollenbeck could not control it. Hollenbeck apparently took a shot there. And let's take a look here on this. Yeah, Dyson Koehler, if he starts getting that going, look out. On the season, he was 26 of 70. So around 35, 36% from three-point range. As this will be lobbed into Alex Chu. Hand it right back to Blaze Threet. Boy, Threet nearly walked.
He did. He took about 3 steps, but the officials weren't paying attention.
Blake Daberco into the game, and Alex Chu goes right to work on him and picks up his second field goal. Daberco, 6'10" junior for Idaho State out of Lincoln, Nebraska. Also into the game, Jackson Green for the Bengals. Jackson has been a nice addition this year as well.
Junior college transfer.
10 seconds to shoot for Idaho State on the baseline. Losing the handle was Isaiah Griffin out on top. Here is Dylan Darling. Drives, pulls up, hits the jumper. He's in double figures with 10.
Scott, that's one thing the Bengals really have enjoyed about Dylan Darling. He can create his own shots even when the clock is running down.
Yeah, and as much as we loved Malik Arrington at point guard last year, he did not bring that quality.
That was not Malik's strength.
It really wasn't. Threet up fakes for a 3, now gives it up. Vartiainen tried to drive off the angle right against his opposite number 8, Jake O'Neal. Three-pointer missed. Rebound comes into the hands of Idaho State, and finally controlling it, Jake O'Neal. Underneath they go, and Evan Otten's pinned up, nowhere to go. Lost the handle on it, and it comes out, or it was Blake Daberco. Here is Vartiainen, his three ball not good, and two Bengals there for the rebound. It was Isaiah Griffin who controlled it.
Very fast-paced game. Both teams pushing the tempo here early. And that's interesting because if you look at the KenPom numbers, these are two of the slowest-paced teams in the country.
Jump shot a little bit too long, but Jake O'Neal with an offensive rebound. Darling for three. In and out, no. Rebound tip, touched last by who? And it looks like touched by the Bengals as A.J. Bergen makes his first entry into the game, the senior out of San Diego.
And we're at the under-12 timeout.
We are. 10:47.
Teams met here in Reed Gym. He had 6 3-pointers for Idaho State.
Well, after that inbounds, we thought it was going to be Weber State ball, but it's Idaho State with possession. Vasily Vucinic comes back into the game for Weber State, replacing Alex Chu. As we said, first time tonight we have seen Bengal senior guard A.J. Bergen on the floor. Here's Dylan Darling trying to drive off that wing. Now gets pinned up on the baseline, throws it out, and can it be saved? Yeah, no. Bengals are going to get a backcourt violation. Ryan Looney is trying to tell Ray Ames that that ball was tipped, but Ray said, nope, sorry, coach, not the case. That's a turnover.
And the Bengals have turned it over 4 times already here in the first half.
Weber with 3 giveaways as we hit the 10:30 mark. Vucinic out on top. Otten, 20 feet from the bucket, and there's going to be a foul away from the basketball, and I think they're going to get Nigel Berg. No, they did not. They picked up Miguel Tomley with a hold underneath, so that's the first on Tomley, first on Weber State. So fast-paced and not many fouls called.
Yeah.
Brad, we're nearly halfway through this first half and only 2 fouls whistled, one each.
And 4 turnovers on either team.
Here's Otten to Jackson Green. Jackson stops on top. A.J. Bergen, catch, shoot, 3-ball, rims out. Jake O'Neal, rebound. Darling, plenty of time, another 3-ball.
Well, Dylan is putting it up with confidence tonight.
13 points for the redshirt sophomore, and that's his second MACU 3-pointer of the night, and Bengals reclaim the lead.
Darling, 6 of 7 from the floor right now.
Vartiainen, left wing side for Tomley. Tomley looks inside, nothing there. Bring it back out to Threet. Threet, Burris, pass tip. A.J. Bergen's going to get fouled, and A.J. went down hard. A.J. went up high for that ball. Vucinic clipped him.
Yeah, Vucinic was just going for the pass.
No, right. Oh.
You know, it wasn't an intentional thing, but it was a foul.
Yeah, it definitely was, and I think they may take a peek here.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at this replay on the ESPN side. Yeah, it was nothing mean.
No, he was just going for the pass, and A.J. happened to be there. Good help defense by A.J. Bergen.
So the first on Vucinic, the second on the Wildcats, comes as Idaho State has the ball now with 9.5 minutes to go first half. Up by 1 at 18-17. Hottest hand on the court right now handles the basketball. That's Dylan Darling.
And they're trying to force the ball out of his hands.
Darling, Green, inside. That's Otten. Little hook shot, rolls out, no, and the rebound to Threet. Plays Threet, pushes it up the left side. Pass ahead. Vartiainen, his triple won't go. Rebound, Burris, pass tipped out of bounds. It'll be touched last by the Bengals. Nigel Burris, pretty impressive looking kid out of San Francisco, 6'7", 225.
Started his career at the University of Idaho, transferred to Utah State last year, transferred to Weber State this year, which is, you know, that's the way the game is played these days. But he started off as their best 3-point shooter. He missed the last game that they played against Northern Arizona with an ankle injury, but he's back on the floor today.
A.J. Bergen came out, as back in there is Isaiah Griffin. Also, Evan Otten back out on the floor. All right, make it Connor Hollenbeck. There is a 3-ball on the way, and that will not go for Threet. And the rebound to Evan Otten. Up ahead they come. Dylan Darling driving, hanging shot, not good. I'm surprised it didn't go. Everything he's put up tonight seems like it's found the bottom of the net.
Everything he's touched has turned to gold tonight.
We got a foul whistled underneath there. It'll be the second on the Wildcats. Make it the third. Foul is going to go on Trevor Hennig, who had checked into the game and quickly picked up a foul for Idaho State. That was actually Hennig who pulled the trigger on that three last trip down the floor. So Dylan Darling to the line to shoot two. Good free throw shooter, too.
80% free throw shooter on the season.
And that's the first ICCU free throw of the night. And Idaho Central Credit Union contributing $5 to student athletes at Idaho State University with every made free throw this year. Both teams now 1 of 1 from the line here tonight. Idaho State goes back up by 2 at 19-17. And missed the second, did Dylan Darling. So Bengals up a deuce. 8.5 minutes to go, first half. Three, sizing it up out on top. Gets a screen from Koehler. That'll make a switch. Boy, Jake O'Neal all over Miguel Tomlin. He is not letting him breathe tonight. Here's Vucinic. Swings a pass over. Koehler with 8 to shoot.
Boy,
catch and shoot three.
He is feeling it tonight.
Did you see where he caught that? He caught that ball down around his kneecaps and just came up and let it fly.
And all in one motion.
So Weber back out on top here. Weber State. Idaho State, or Weber State has only played one other team more times than Idaho State. Of course, they're both charter members of the Big Sky Conference. Here is Threed out on top, looking for a screen. Now drives all the way in, throws it up. Vucinic with a nice touch and a drop, a little teardrop for the bucket. And the Wildcats go up by 3.
Really good penetration by Threed. He attracted 3 defenders, and that left Vucinic wide open at the rim.
Dylan Darling trying to split 2 defenders, and there's going to be a foul whistled. And we've got a timeout here. 7:23 to go first half. Wildcats by 3 over the Bengals. Bengals, it's been a while since they have had more than a 2-game win streak against Weber State.
Yeah, the last time the Bengals had a more than 2-game win streak was 1987-88 when they won all 4 games between the 2 teams. And there's a foul underneath the hoop.
Yep.
But that's unusual that they played each other 4 times in the same season, and I looked it up just to make sure.
Yeah.
They played twice on neutral courts. One of those, I'm sure, was in the Big Sky Conference tournament.
It was.
And of course, then they played once in Ogden and once in Pocatello.
And they played in a preseason or a pre-conference tournament at BYU. As Blake Daberco, the foul was whistled against Blaze Threed, his first, team's 4th, and Blake Daberco steps up, knocks down an ICCU free throw, and for Blake, that's just his first make of the year on only his 2nd shot, and now he's 2 out of 3 as he makes a pair of ICCU free throws, gets Idaho State back to within a point at 22-21.
Blake does most of his work away from the basket, so he doesn't get very many free throw opportunities. He's more of a 3-point shooter than anything.
Starting 5 minus Isaiah Griffin on the floor for Idaho State. A.J. Bergen is out there along with Darling, Otten, O'Neal, and Hollenbeck. Here's Chu. Nice cut underneath there by Threed. Gives it back to Chu. Chu, shot blocked by Otten. Evan.
They called a foul.
Oh, my goodness. They called the foul underneath there. Goodness, I thought he got that cleanly from our angle. It looked pretty good.
They called a block.
Wow.
Here's the replay. They called a block, which means a body foul more than anything.
Boy, I'll tell you what, that's tough. That's a tough call for the redshirt freshman Evan Otten. It'll send Alex Chu to the free throw line. Chu
had an interesting experience last week in Flagstaff. He got thrown out of the game. He got into a little bit of a tussle with Carson Tout. And the commissioner's son got tossed out of that game, too.
He came off the bench in
that came off the bench, Jack Wistersill.
So Chu misses both free throws, but the long rebound comes out. Weber State answers back.
Tomley drains a 3, and there is nothing worse than a long offensive rebound off of a missed free throw, because those turn into 3-point baskets more often than not.
And that gives the Wildcats a lead of 4. That matches their biggest bulge of the night here at 25-21. And Horrible pass by Otten as he tried to feed it inside and maybe force that a little bit. Could not get it over 6'11" Alex Chu. In the paint, a floater left short by Tomlin. Rebound to the Bengals, and Darling pushes into the front court. Dylan Darling, nobody stopped him. The ball gets tipped around. Dylan Darling almost comes out of there with it and finally touched last and knocked out of bounds by the Wildcats. Boy, this has been an up and down kind of game.
Well, you know, I mentioned, Scott, if you look in the Ken Palm numbers, Idaho State and Weber State are both near the bottom in the nation in pace, and yet they have been pushing the tempo here tonight. They haven't been particularly efficient, but they have really pushed the tempo.
Jackson Green into the game. Bengals had a tough time getting that ball in bounds. They had to lob it into the back court where Jake O'Neal tracked it down. Down to 13 to shoot, 6 minutes left in the first half. Darling, he heard it. He got his foot stepped on, it looks like. Here is Jackson Green into the paint. His runner not going to go. Rebound fought for.
I think Bergen's going to get called for a foul there.
Yeah, and I want to keep an eye on Dylan Darling. Yeah, he looked like
he's limping a little bit.
Yeah. And he had that foot injury back before Christmas, and that's going to get Quentin Meza into the game.
Yeah.
And it's the right foot or ankle of Dylan Darling that they're going to take a look at. So it was A.J. Bergen with the foul, and for A.J., that's his first. And let's take a look at, you can see Darling just stepped on the foot there. And boy, that happens so much in basketball. You just come down on the side of somebody's sneaker. And here is a steal as the Bengals take it away. Quentin Meza.
Jackson Green with a nice interception, played the passing lane.
Quentin Meza out of West Valley City, Utah, transfer from Wofford.
Yes.
Q got a nice new haircut, too.
Wants to look good for the home folks.
In they go to the paint. Nevin Otten with a little baby hook, and he puts up his first field goal of the night. And the lead cut in half. It's Weber State 25, Idaho State 23 as we approach the 5-minute mark here in the first half. Underneath they go at a drive-by Threet. He cashes it in, and he's now got 5 on the night.
And that's Threet's specialty, 6'3", 210 pounds. He goes hard to the rim. Not a great three-point shooter, but really effective, shooting 51% from the field.
Ryan Looney mentioned that in our pregame conversation. He's more of a downhill kind of guy than he is a three-point shooter. A.J. Bergen's a three-point shooter, but he's going to feed it into Green on that right block. Now to Otten, back out. Quentin Meza,
he got fouled.
He got hammered. No call.
Oh, my goodness.
The ball finally tracked down, and Ryan Looney in front of us was kind of losing his mind a little bit.
I'm not sure how they missed that, quite frankly.
And they're going to
reset the shot clock, I believe.
Yeah, they're going to put 20. Going to put. Yeah, let's see if we can see this, because it looked like Meza. He might have kind of kicked his leg out a little bit there, but either way, they're putting right now. It looks like they're going to put 25 on the shot clock, and they're going to let Connor Hollenbeck re-enter the game for Idaho State, and Jackson Green will come out. Jackson got to see his parents last week. They live about 20-30 minutes from Greeley, and came to the game Saturday afternoon. He had a little family get-together. It's home for Christmas, I think he said, for a couple of days, but parents got to see him play in a Bengal uniform. There's Jake O'Neal into the paint. Shot.
Wow.
Jake O'Neal, and he didn't draw a foul either.
What a tough shot by Jake O'Neal.
That's just some veteran type play there.
That's toughness,
right?
man.
Yeah.
That is toughness.
Far side they go. That's going to be Burris with it. Burris, Tomlin, he wants to drive against Meza. Step back three ball. That's long off the back iron. Rebound tipped around. It came to Chu. Chu walked with the basketball underneath. I was going to say he spun and kind of stepped back. And Alex Chu's going to get called for the turnover, and it'll be Bengal basketball down 2 when we come back to Reed Gym on KISU FM and go, I think, on our first or second break. They've now evened that up at 11 apiece. Idaho State has 6 offensive rebounds already.
Idaho State leads the Big Sky Conference in offensive rebounding.
And Idaho State has the ball with a chance to tie or take the lead here as Jake O'Neal gets underneath, kicks it out. Hollenbeck to Darling. Darling, stop, left alone. Good to see him back in there after that ankle injury. And Connor Hollenbeck from deep on the right side knocks down an MACU three-pointer, and that's our 12th lead change of this game already.
It's been a great rivalry game. Everything you would expect from these two teams.
We were tied at 2. We were tied at 11. And driving inside, Dyson Koehler gets hit as he goes up. He'll shoot a pair. The foul is going to go to the Bengals. Isaiah Griffin with his first. And that'll be the 4th against Idaho State. So the team fouls even at 4 apiece with 3:05 to go here first half. Bengals up 1 at 28-27.
Dyson Koehler with 9 points on 3 of 3 from three-point range.
And Koehler, a good free throw shooter, 81%, but he misses here. And Weber State thus far in this game now 1 of 4 from the stripe. Bengals are 3 of 4.
Koehler got off to a good start down in Flagstaff. He had 13 points in the first half against NAU, but did not score in the second half.
Well, the second made free throw, will tie the game at 28, our 3rd tie of the night. And Jake O'Neal quickly going on the attack, trying to change that, and he draws the foul here, and that's check it. And it's going to go against Dyson Koehler of the Wildcats. His first, team's 5th. 2 minutes, 56 seconds left here.
Jake on the season is a 69% free throw shooter. The Bengals shoot more free throw attempts than any team in the Big Sky Conference.
And Jake O'Neal's first free throw drops through the twine, and that's another ICCU free throw.
Bengals average 20.5 free throws a game. Free throw attempts.
Yeah, and that's first in the Big Sky Conference, and also made free throws at 14.8 per game, right? So,
yep.
So Idaho State back on top of the Wildcats by 1. Now make it 2 as Jake O'Neal knocks down another ICCU free throw. 2-point Idaho State lead. That matches their biggest lead of the night. Wildcats have led by as many as 4. Vartiainen out on top over there on the left side. Looking for some help. Finds Vucinic. Vucinic backing down Connor Hollenbeck. Pick it back out. Koehler with a 3. And Dyson Koehler, tell you what, he may have had an ankle injury, but it ain't bugging him tonight.
No, he is 4 for 4 from three-point range. Shooting with a lot of confidence tonight.
Well, as we said, Koehler, a local product out of Draper, Utah.
Started his career at Cal Poly. Bengals turn it over.
Coming the other way, Blaze Threet with a layup good.
Those live ball turnovers just kill you.
7 points for Threet and a 3-point Wildcat lead as we hit the 2-minute mark remaining here in the first half. Jake O'Neal handles the basketball on top for Idaho State. Now goes wide left to Hollenbeck. Looking down on that block. He's got Koehler on his back, does O'Neal. Here is the 3-ball on the way. Long, not good. Jake O'Neal trying to rip that rebound out of there. Kept it alive, and Idaho State has it. Jake wants it in the corner. Here's Hollenbeck straight away. The 3-ball rims out into the hands of Blaze Threet. Man, Jake O'Neal was begging for the ball in the far side corner, and they didn't see him.
Well, Connor Hollenbeck had a good look at that 3. Just couldn't get it down.
Looks like got the bloody nose stopped on Connor Hollenbeck as well. Narrowly thrown away. Vartiainen controls it right in front of the Bengal bench. There was maybe a walk there. As they get it to the far side, here is a 3-ball put up, and that's going to be good. And it's Dyson Koehler again. He's got
5 for 5.
Unbelievable. And Weber State with their biggest lead of the night of 36-30. They've lost 4 straight coming in here, but they also played a couple of those games without Koehler, right?
Right, and they've got talent. This is a very talented team.
Here is Jake O'Neal, turnaround jumper, no. Tipped up by Evan Otten, couldn't control it. Weber State here could have a crack at a 2-for-1. I know you don't talk about that much in college basketball, but they could get 2 possessions
and
here in the final.
They're going to take their timeout.
Yeah, they're going to take their use it or lose it timeout. So Eric Duft, in his 3rd year here at Weber State, it's going to be a 30-second timeout. Scoring it.
And he's got that off the back end of a live ball turnover, and those live ball turnovers just, they frequently lead to easy buckets.
35, make it 18 to shoot now as the shot clock ticks down, or the game clock ticks down to 30 seconds. Burris out on top, finds Threet. Threet looking inside, comes back to Tomley. Jake O'Neal picks him up. Now a quick double team as they switch it. Dylan Darling. Darling gets the block. Tomley gets the ball back. It won't go. It's blocked, and here come the Bengals. 10 seconds here. They've got time. They need to get a good look here.
They're going to let Darling go one-on-one.
Step back, 3 ball, no, and that's going to do it just about. Let's see, this will count if it goes for Blaze Threet, but not the case. We head to the locker room here in Pocatello, Idaho. It's Big Sky Conference basketball and a pair of rivals. 2 seconds, you've traveled the length of a basketball court without seeing the road. The Idaho Transportation Department reminds us to just drive and avoid distractions. This Towards Zero Deaths message is presented by the Idaho Transportation Department, a proud supporter of ISU sports. Remember, buckle up, as it could save a life. So it'll be Weber State with the ball, and they promptly throw it away. Brad, that's something that Idaho State's going to have to take advantage of. As we said, they outscored Weber 10-4 off of turnovers in the first half. This is an opportunity here right out of the gate.
An unforced error. Threet thought Koehler was going to go out, and Koehler did not.
Hollenbeck on top. Right elbow to Evan Otten. Got bumped by Chu. Here is Isaiah Griffin to the bucket. He won't get the score, but he's going to draw the foul, and I believe they're going to tag Miguel Tomley. And let's talk about Eric Duft, head coach of the Weber State Wildcats. He's in his 3rd year as head coach of Weber State, and Brad, he's had some success.
Well, he was won 20 games last year. The Wildcats lost in the semifinals of the Big Sky Conference tournament. This year's record not up to normal Weber State standards, but I expect them to play much better as the season goes along. There's a lot of talent on this Weber State team.
And they've battled some injuries as Isaiah Griffin. That foul was on Miguel Tomley, the former Idaho State Bengal. That's his 2nd. And Isaiah Griffin knocks down a pair of ICCU free throws. And Idaho State capitalizes on the turnover with points on the board. Blaze Threet out on top. Close eye kept on him there by Darling. Here's Vucinic out on top, looking for Dyson Koehler. Hand it back. Miguel Tomley looks like he wants to drive. Gets Jake in the air, and Miguel Tomley with his 2nd field goal and his 5th point of the night.
Miguel is in a little bit of a slump from three-point range. He is 3 of his last 16 from 3, but that was a nice little floater in the lane.
Connor Hollenbeck feeds it into Jake O'Neal in that left block, trying to spin, and he's going to get called for the walk. You know what happened there? Blaze Threet did the old pull the chair out. He was bodying him up low, and then he backed away, and Jake lost his balance, and that's a turnover. And you can see it right here. He just kind of backed off of him a little bit, and Jake just lost his balance.
Yeah.
He thought the body was going to be there, and Threet kind of went away from him.
Yeah.
So 38-32, Weber State up by 6. That's their biggest lead of the basketball game. Idaho State's led by as many as 2 on 3 different occasions. Threet on top. High post they go. Vucinic. He'll give it off to Tomley. Tomley tried to work a little give and go. Now gives it back to Vucinic. Vucinic will drive, go inside, score it, and there's going to be the foul, and they may tag Evan Otten with his 2nd. Let's see. Bucket's good. It is on Evan Otten.
You can hear the Weber crowd up above us to our left. The Wildcats had a couple of buses full of fans coming up here. One of them was paid for by Dylan Jones, their All Big Sky MVP last year, now playing for the Oklahoma City Thunder. He paid for a bus and 40 tickets for Weber fans.
Vasilije Vucinic knocks down the 3-point play, and all of a sudden, Weber State has built their lead to 9.
Biggest of the game.
Otten, O'Neal, he'll work on top. Jake, one dribble with his right hand. Now they're going to give it off to Dylan Darling, and Dylan splits defenders. Now Isaiah Griffin going to drive off the corner. He gets the bucket to go, and I just love Isaiah Griffin. I've told you this, and listen, over the last year or 2, when he attacks off the dribble from the wing or the baseline, he is tough to beat. And a big bucket there for the Bengals, who now trail by 7. They need a little mini run here as Miguel Tomley trying to work against Connor Hollenbeck. That's going to be a hand check foul out on top. And Hollenbeck will pick up his second. That'll be Idaho State's second team foul of the half. Comes at 17:49 of this second half. Weber State up by 7 at 41-34.
That's a tough matchup for Hollenbeck.
And you can see right here, it's just a good attack there by Vucinic. He drew that foul and completed that three-point play last possession for Weber State. So here's Threet on top, handles the ball now, gives it off to Tomley. Jake O'Neal on him as they bounce it into Alex Chu. Chu lost the handle, and they're going to call a foul on Connor Hollenbeck. And everyone is kind of like, didn't see that one.
That was his second foul in the last two possessions. Here's the replay. We'll see.
Boy, I'll tell you, it's tough. It's that verticality rule, and his one arm came forward just a little bit. It's going to send Alex Chu to the free throw line. He's 0 of 2 there tonight. He's now 1 of 3. So Alex Chu, he had played in 93 career games coming into the season for Weber State out of Cheshire, England.
It's a very experienced Weber State team, as Ryan Looney said on our pregame show. Not everybody's played their entire career at Weber, but they have played a lot of basketball.
Missed the free throw, but Threet able to control it. Jackson Green now guards Threet out on top. So an 8-point lead for the Wildcats at 42-34. Vucinic tried to come out and set up a screen. Feed off of that. Here is a three ball. Dyson Koehler's human. He missed a three-pointer.
Wow.
He was on fire, 5 of 5 from downtown in the first half. So his first miss from deep tonight. And Idaho State now down by 8. Chance to cut into that lead. Here's Jackson Green. Gives it off to Dylan Darling. Darling with a high screen. And they're going to call
Evan Otten, illegal screen.
Yep, he slid out a little bit too late. And that's 3 on Evans. So 3 on Otten, 3 on Hollenbeck. Connor's already on the bench. Daberco is in. And also Jackson Green came in when Hollenbeck picked up his third. And take a look at this, and you can see this screen by Otten.
Yeah, he slid out there.
Yeah, he did. His hip came out. Attacking the bucket is Weber State. It comes out of there into the hands of Vucinic. Koehler in the corner now wants to drive, hangs, and gets it to go. A lot of contact. And, boy, they're letting them play in the paint tonight. As Idaho State comes the other way, now down by the biggest margin of the game at 10 points. But we're starting to get to that magic time. They were down 19 with 13:32 to go last week at Northern Arizona. So this is infinitely doable if you're a Bengal fan, as got a foul called on Dyson Koehler. And for Koehler, that's his second.
Northern Colorado outdid that Thursday night. They were down 20 to Montana State and came back and won.
Boy, just a hard drive and took it right into Jackson Green. Did Dyson Koehler. You just saw that replay on the ESPN side. So going to the free throw line for Idaho State will be Dylan Darling. He's 1 of 2 from the stripe tonight. And make him 1 of 3. That one rattled out. As Dylan Darling, usually an awfully good free throw shooter at 80%. But tonight, 1 of 3. The lead stays at 10 for the Wildcats. And now that second free throw, an ICCU free throw, makes it a 9-point Weber State lead. Bengals swept Weber State last year for the first time in 20 years. And the men's and women's program at Idaho State swept all 4 games against Weber for the first time in 40 years last year.
Which is not going to happen this year because the Weber State women won by 5 in overtime in Ogden today.
Vucinic drives in. The Bengals don't control the rebound, and Blaze Threet cashes it in, and now it's an 11-point Wildcat lead. Here is Dylan Darling. Pull-up jumper good from the free throw line. Yeah, we've got a timeout. And we've got 15:55 to go here as Dylan Darling knocks down his 18th point of the night. This will be a full timeout. 46
rebounding teams in the nation, but not tonight. Weber State has out-rebounded them 18-14 and 8-7 on the offensive glass, and they have outscored the Bengals 9-5 on second chance points.
And it will be Weber State with the basketball. Blaze Threet had it poked away, and it was touched, I believe, by Jackson Green. The Bengals tried to say that Threet lost that on his own. And they're going to throw another timeout our way. So a short little time of action here it in. I'm Scott Gross along with Brad Bugger. And Brad, Ryan Looney, 6th year here at Idaho State, and he's had some success.
Yeah, of course, the Bengals won their 2 Big Sky Conference tournament games as they give up an easy dunk there on the inbounds pass last year. And that was the first time that's happened in many years for Idaho State.
And they'd like to make a run again at that Big Sky Conference tournament in Boise come March. Right now, they just want to make a run against the Wildcats. They're down 11. Kick it out on top to Isaiah Griffin. Now left side, over near the sideline. That's going to be Jackson Green. Back over here to Dylan Darling. Spots up. 3-ball good. Dylan Darling. He is still hot, folks. That's 21 points tonight for the redshirt sophomore transfer.
Yeah, Dylan has been carrying the Bengals offensively. They got to get somebody else going on that end of the floor, and they got to get some stops on this end of the floor.
Nigel Burris handles the basketball out on top for Weber State. Gives it over to Dyson Koehler, guarded by Jackson Green. Out to the center circle at Threet. They'll reset. Now it's going to be Jackson Green on Blaze Threet. Threet puts up a shot, can't get it to go, and they're going to call a Bengal foul on the rebound as Alex Chu ended up on the floor. And it looks like Jaden Brown going to make his first appearance of the night for Idaho State, the 6'4" redshirt freshman out of Pullman, Washington. And Weber State's going to get Vasilije Vucinic back into the game out of Montenegro.
Jake O'Neal picked up the foul, his first of the night.
That's a good thing because Jake O'Neal fouled out of that game against Northern Colorado last week, and underneath they go. Vucinic gets the easy layup. Vucinic now with 11 points tonight. And again, Weber up in double figures by 10.
And Ryan Looney immediately called for Evan Otten after that play by Vucinic.
Here is Jake O'Neal, right wing, 3-ball, good for Jake O'Neal. His first MACU three-pointer of the night. And the Fruitland, Idaho High School product gets Idaho State back to within 7. 14 minutes to go in the game here. Threet feeds it. Vucinic. He's got Dabrico on him as he works on that left block. Nothing there. Lob it back out to Threet. Looks like they're going to maybe refeed. No. It's going to be Threet with a pull-up jumper off the back iron. No. Jackson Green gets the rebound for the Bengals. Quickly into the front court comes Dylan Darling. He slipped. He's changed shoes.
Yes, he has.
Didn't he have some pink shoes on that first half? And he kind of tweaked that ankle, it looked like. Here is a 3-ball by Jaden Brown that's long, not good. Jake O'Neal, though, gets the offensive rebound, and then he's going to be bumped and fouled. And let's see if they got Vartiainen. I believe they did. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to be Viljami Vartiainen from Helsinki, Finland, with his first foul.
That was Jake O'Neal's 5th offensive rebound of the night. Again, he leads the Big Sky Conference in offensive rebounding. You can see he's the Bengals' leading rebounder at 6'4".
Yeah.
And he is just a pounder in there.
Here is Jackson Green attacking off the left side and off the glass and in. And Jackson Green with his first field goal. And just like that, the Bengals, who had been down by 11, trailed just by 5 here. They are on an 8-2 run since it was 48-37. Threet front court. Finds Tomlin. He'll work high on the right side. 13 minutes left. Burris. Nigel trying to drive against Jackson Green. Gets inside. High off the glass. Man, 2 bodies on the floor for Idaho State, but Nigel Burris with his first field goal. And on the other end, Dylan Darling says, well, I'll just have a new season high with his 23rd point of the night.
And that is a career high for Dylan.
Yep. Absolutely. Playing well here tonight. 23 of the Bengals' 47 points. Koehler, Burris, back to Koehler, wide right. Feed it down to Vucinic. He's on that right block this time. Ball goes inside, and they get it to Blaze Threet. And I think they got
Dylan Darling.
Dylan Darling with the foul. For Dylan, that's his first. That's 6 fouls now on Idaho State, if my count is correct. Nope, just 5. Nope, it is 6.
So Weber State will be in the bonus from this point on.
Wildcats have been whistled for just 4 team fouls here so far in the first 7.5 minutes of this second half. Vucinic holds, now tries to back down Evan Otten. Bodies him up, turns, and off the glass and good. Vasilije Vucinic is going to be a factor in the Big Sky
No
Conference.
question about it. Transferred in from Portland, and as we said, 65% from the field, and you can see why. He's got some great footwork.
13 points here tonight, and he's 5 of 6 from the floor. That's 83%. Evan Otten got the rebound, and then he and Tomley kind of chirp a little bit and bump each other. Evan said something first, and now Tomley, and they're going to bang who? Tomley. Are they going to get them both? Because Dylan Darling had slid in there, and now we're going to see. As of the day, though, was in Missoula, where the Northern Colorado Bears beat Montana 81-57. Yeah. So Idaho State will have the ball after the double technicals and the review. Jake O'Neal will drive inside, gets pinned up, puts up a tough one-hander. The rebound fought for, going to the floor, and it's going to be touched last by Weber State. And the Bengals, though, will have just 2.5 seconds to shoot.
A lot of bodies going on the floor down there. Very physical.
Eric Duft is appealing for something, and Trent Lovewell over on the near side says, don't do that. So I don't know what he was doing.
They reset the shot clock.
They did. They reset the shot clock. And the ball tipped, and that's going to go off Jackson Green's back and out of bounds. That's a tough break. Jackson was in there fighting for the rebound, kind of, I don't know, lost his balance, and the ball went off of him. So, yeah, they did reset that to 20. So they must have said that there was partial possession for Weber, or because I don't think the ball hit the rim, did it?
I don't know.
Well, either way, the Bengals couldn't cash in, and now down by 7. Blaze Threet will handle out on top against Dylan Darling. Gives it up, Dyson Koehler.
He's been very quiet in the second half after a tremendous first half.
Nearly lost by Chu, but he tracks it down, saves it back to Vartiainen. And back to Threet now with 7 to shoot for the Wildcats. Into the corner, Vartiainen wants to drive against A.J. Bergen. Puts it up, can't get it. Chu with an offensive rebound. And it's going to be a jump ball, and it'll go to Idaho State. So they're saying it looked like it was going to be a walk, but I think when Chu went back up, it was kind of blocked.
Yeah, he got his shot blocked.
Yep. And so Idaho State will get the ball. 11 minutes left in this one. Home team down by 7. And there's going to be a foul, as going down hard was Jake O'Neal. Alex Chu just shoved him, trying to come through the screen there. Let's take a look at this. Oh, that's that play by Chu where he got his shot blocked and called the jump ball.
And A.J. Bergen may have raked him in the eye as well. He was holding his eyes after that play.
So they get the foul on Alex Chu of Weber State. That's his first. That's the 5th, or make it the 6th on the Wildcats. So both teams will be in the bonus here for the last 10:56.
Lots of free throws down the stretch.
Here is Dylan Darling. He'll work it out on top for Idaho State. Trying to get free. Got Threet on his back. Over to A.J. Bergen. Pump fakes for 3. Drives inside. Tries to scoop. Has it blocked. Jackson Green came out of there with it. And then there's going to be a Weber State foul. And let's check it and see. Going to call it on Nigel Burris. Tag him with his first personal. 7th team foul. So Jackson Green. And let's take a look here. The shot was blocked off of the Bergen try, but then Jackson Green, they just kind of rolled up on his leg there as he had the ball. So this will be a 1-and-1 opportunity for Jackson Green. First trip to the line tonight. Green on the season, 91%, 21 of 23. Let's hope that's not the announcer's jinx. That's what Bengal fans are saying.
Pretty much count on it.
Jackson Green. He has fit in very nicely. He's one of the 12 new players.
And there you go, Scott.
That's on me.
Told you.
The announcer jinx. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, the lead stays at 7 for Weber State here at 54-47. Weber looking for their first conference win of the year after starting 0-2 on the road. And Idaho State trying to get their second win. They went 1-1 last week. And going up for the block was Vucinic, and it was blocked by Otten, I believe. Coming the other way, Dylan Darling. That got the Bengal fans kind of fired up. Dylan Darling drives inside. He draws contact, and he'll toe the stripe as the foul goes on number 8, Viliami Vartiainen.
Yeah, free throw shooting is going to be critical these last 10 minutes because both of these teams are going to get a lot of opportunities to shoot free throws. You see Eric Duff, the Weber State coach, he was not too thrilled with that sequence of officiating.
So Dylan Darling to the line, and that one's long and not good. Dylan has struggled from the line tonight. He's now 2 of 5.
80% on the season.
The lead stays at 7.
Some nights it's just not working for you.
No, you're right. Second free throw by Darling. That one's up and in, and that's an ICCU free throw. And Idaho Central Credit Union donating another $5 to student athletes, and they'll do that for every made free throw this season by the Bengals. Feed it inside, Nigel Burris, and he's going to get bumped and fouled as he tried to go for the layup there on the left side. And the foul will go to Jackson Green. So the Bengals Green picks up his first. That's 8 on Idaho State as a team. Scott Gross, Brad Bugger with you from Reed Gymnasium here in Pocatello. Glad to have you along tonight on KISU-FM and our ESPN Plus simulcast.
Nigel Burris, a 74% free throw shooter on the season.
Makes the first. Miguel Tomley back in. Viliami Vartiainen. After that bump and that technical, not a very warm reception for Tomley.
Well, he hasn't had a very warm reception all night long, but I think that turned it up a notch.
I think you're right. And that second free throw good by Nigel Burris. So Burris on the night now with 4 points, 2 of 2 from the line. The lead goes back to 8. 9:45 to go here. Screen by Bergen on top. Darling gets free. Drive, kick, back out on top. A.J. Bergen 4-3. Halfway down and out. Jake O'Neal with the offensive rebound.
Jake O'Neal is just unbelievable.
And Miguel Tomley is going to get tagged with the foul, I believe. Yeah, that's his 4th. And he's going to complain, but that'll draw a Bronx cheer from the crowd and send Miguel Tomley back to the bench. Okay, so the Idaho State Bengals, boy, one of the things they've done well this year is get to the free throw line, Brad Bugger, and they lead the conference in made free throws, almost 15 a game and almost 21 attempts, and Jake O'Neal misses another one, and boy, you just cannot do that in this situation. The Bengals have got to cash them in.
Bengals are killing themselves at the free throw line tonight.
Bengals have not scored a field goal in over 3 minutes. Here is Blaze Threet, and that's going to be an offensive foul on Threet with the push-off. Dylan Darling took the contact in the chest, and for Threet, that'll be his second. That's another turnover, and with 9:19 to go here, the Bengals still within hailing distance, down by 8 at 56-48.
Well, we said it a couple minutes ago when both these teams got in the bonus, and it's even more true now. You've got to take advantage of these free throw opportunities because you're going to get a lot of them.
Bengals are only 4 of 8 in the second half, if the quick glance down at my book is right. As Dylan Darling gets bumped by Vucinic, he'll bring it out. A.J. Bergen, a straightaway deep 3 ball, not good. Ryan Looney thought he got bumped too. That's a couple of times tonight on both sides that coaches have thought jump shooters have maybe gotten bumped, but not too many whistles. Lob it inside Vucinic. He leaves it short. Rebound tip comes back out to Vartiainen. They reset the shot clock down to 15 to shoot, or they did not. And there's Evan Otten with a steal. So he almost got the loose ball the last time off that Vucinic miss. Dylan Darling trying to split 3 defenders, and Threet comes away with it, and he lays it up and in.
Another live ball turnover and another easy basket.
Yeah, and Dylan Darling, maybe the first thing he's kind of done wrong tonight, he kind of hung his head and lagged back on that transition. Joe White, associate head coach, was getting upset with him.
Another turnover, this one by Hollenbeck.
And going to have a blocking foul called, no shot. They're going to call the block on Dylan Darling. And that'll be his third and the 9th on Idaho State. Quentin Meza and Isaiah Griffin will come into the game here. It's a 1-and-1 chance coming up as Darling picked up that foul. Blake Daberco going to come in as well. So Darling out, Bergen out, Otten out, and Threet toes the line for a 1-and-1. Talked about the Bengals struggling from the line. Weber State in this second half, 4 out of 5. And a good free throw shooter up there. He's 1 of 1 tonight.
And these turnovers have just opened the door for easy baskets and free throw opportunities.
So the front end of the 1-and-1 missed. And it's Jake O'Neal. It might be the first team that can hit 2 or 3 free throws in a row and win this game. You never know.
Well, the Bengals got to do some work. Down by 10.
58-48, 7:50 to go. Blake Daberco hands it off to Meza. Meza through the hands of Hollenbeck over to Jake O'Neal. Jake sizing up Dyson Koehler. Crosses him over, now comes back. Into the paint goes Quentin Meza. Jake O'Neal the other way, score it! He's fouled and he'll go to the line. Alex Chu tagged him. Jake O'Neal cashes in the bucket.
And a great pass by Quentin Meza. Quentin Meza has not shot very well for Idaho State, but he has done a tremendous
Christmas break with that ankle injury, but man, has he really been big in those 2 conference games last week. Averaged 20 points a night. Had fueled the big comeback against Northern Arizona. As the free throw missed by Jake O'Neal on the 3-point play opportunity, and then that ball tipped out of bounds, touched last by Weber State. But getting back to him, he averaged 21 points, 7 assists, and only 1.5 turnovers last week in the opening weekend of conference play. Dylan Darling is a special player.
He is, and now they are overturning that call, and they're going to give the ball to Weber State. Darling, a big night tonight with 24 points. He has had 3 turnovers, however, and those 3 turnovers have turned into Weber State baskets. He's on the bench right now. Quentin Meza in the lineup.
Just 3 assists for Darling this evening as well. And going to have a foul whistled, and what do we have? They're going to call a foul on Isaiah Griffin.
And every foul is free throws from this point on. So
yeah, both teams double bonus. Right? Yeah.
Yep. Lots of free throws down the stretch.
So Viliami Vartiainen, Helsinki native, and he misses the free throw. Vartiainen looking for his first points of the night.
Wildcats just 6 of 12 from the free throw line.
How about Vartiainen? 2 years ago, he had to do required military service for Finland. He was in the service, the Army, with Lauri Markkanen from the Utah Jazz.
Nice.
Yeah.
And he missed both free throws.
He did miss both free throws, so the lead stays at 8. Hollenbeck, get it to Daberco. Cutting, Jake O'Neal, lay it up and in.
What a great move by Jake O'Neal.
And again, that's just veteran play out there and kind of using your head, right?
Bengals
finding a seam.
Back within 6 here. They can get a stop.
Here's Chu. Chu looking inside, nothing there. Vartiainen, they thought they had a walk. There's Koehler, and he nails a 3 from the corner.
Wow.
His first 3-pointer of the half, his 21st point of the night. That was tough. Back to a 9-point Weber State lead as we hit 6:35 remaining. Hollenbeck looks inside, now brings it back out on top. Daberco to Meza. Meza back over. Far side corner, that's going to be Connor Hollenbeck. He can hit that shot. He's got 1-3 tonight. Here's Meza driving to the baseline, cut off. Here is Jake O'Neal, spot up, the 3-ball short. Daberco, look at Jake O'Neal. He got the timeout, did he or no? They're going to call the jump ball. Jake O'Neal came from the 3-point line to dive on the floor and get that ball.
Jake O'Neal reminds me of Casey Spink on the ISU women's team. They both play this game as hard and as determined as anybody I've ever seen.
Hey, we're coming up on the 5:29 mark left in the game, which reminds us support comes from Ideal, Idaho's college savings program. Ideal is a state-sponsored tax-advantaged savings plan that helps families pay for the cost of college. Information and full disclosure statement, including risk, terms, and conditions, can be found online at idsaves.com. So after the held ball, Weber with it. Here's Vartiainen, his 3-ball halfway down and out. Another rebound for Jake O'Neill, and he is getting close to a double-double. I have him at 9 in there right now. If that was his 10th, he's there. Darling, left wing 3-ball, not good. Rebound tip. Jake O'Neill is going to draw a foul and go back to the line. And it will go on Dyson Koehler of Weber State with his 3rd.
The Bengals need to find somebody else besides Dylan Darling who can make a basket right now. They've got nobody in an offensive rhythm right now. Jake O'Neill is playing with a lot of energy. He's creating opportunities, but somebody's got to make some hoops.
He's got 7 points in the half and leaves this free throw short. The Bengals are absolutely killing themselves at the free throw line this half. That's 8-11. I've got them 4 of 11. Is that what you're showing?
Yeah.
So O'Neill with another one, and that one drops.
That would have been a lane violation had it not dropped. Right. One of the Wildcats got in the lane too soon.
I think it was Chu, but either way, it went, and it's an 8-point Weber State lead. Jake O'Neill now on Dyson Koehler as they bring it out to Blaze Threet. Threet tried to set up a little give and go there with Vucinic, but Threet instead just takes it himself down the left side of the lane, throws it up off the glass, and he's now got 13 on the night. And the lead back to 10 at 63-53. Here is Isaiah Griffin driving to the bucket. Shot not good, but he's fouled, and he'll go to the line.
And Isaiah has not had a great year at the free throw line either. He's shooting just 63% on the season. Bengals have got to get into some kind of a rhythm and start making these free throws.
Well, fortunately for Isaiah, he's 2 of 2 tonight. He's got 6 points and definitely needs a pair here. Time is getting short. 5:15 remaining. A 10-point Weber State lead at 63-53. Griffin, the left-hander's first free throw, is up and good, and that's an ICCU free throw, and another $5 to student athletes as Evan Otten returns to the game. Miguel Tomley back in for Weber State, greeted by a chorus of boos after his technical foul earlier, and just in general being a Weber State guy now, I guess. That free throw missed. Jake O'Neill gets hit in the face, it looks like, and they're going to call the foul on Alex Chu. And so the Bengals will get back to the free throw line as Chu picks up his 2nd. And let's see what we've got here. Jake is saying,
elbow to the face. He wants them to look at it.
Yeah.
And I think they are going to look at it.
Let's take a look here on the replay to see. It was a little bit late getting in there. I mean, if we can back that up and run that again, maybe we can get a quick look at it. But yeah, they are going to come to the table and review because any contact above the shoulders.
Here it is right here.
Oh, he did. Yeah. Now, it's also have to be with intent, and in that situation, Jake kind of turned away. I don't think they're going to get the
I don't think there's going to be a flagrant on it. There will be a foul, and Jake O'Neill will go to the free throw line for a pair, but I don't think there's going to be a flagrant.
I agree. It was incidental. Now, was it to the head? So you can. So there, it kind
one
of
elbow,
pushed him.
2 elbow.
Yeah. Is that a backwards 1-2 punch? I mean, you know, I don't know, but not really. I don't want to say it was a punch, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He turned this way, and then when Jake went down, his other elbow came around. So I don't know.
We'll see, but if nothing else, there was a foul on Chu.
Right.
And so O'Neill will go to the line for a pair of free throws, and Bengals desperately need to make some of these free throws.
They really do. I'm taking a look at the second half numbers here. Idaho State just 6 of 12 from the line. Weber State's 4 of 8. Neither team is shooting the free throws very well here in this second half. And for the game, Idaho State 5 of 19.
No, they're 11 of 18.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at the three-point line. Yeah, 11 of 18. Weber 6 of 13.
Yeah, so Weber shooting 46%. Idaho State shooting 61%. So neither team taking advantage of the early foul opportunities.
And it's uncharacteristic for Idaho State because they are 5th in the Big Sky Conference in team free throw percentage at 72.2%. And at one point, they were leading the league at over 78%.
Yeah, Weber State came in at 71%, which is not great, especially for Weber State. They're typically in the higher 70s, but
yes, let's take a look. You know, very interesting for Weber State. We talk about new players and how many new players they have. Weber State might be one of the most international teams out there. They've got 9 players representing 6 different countries, 3 from Canada, 1 from England. The Sharanets cousins, Marko and Nemanja, are from Serbia, Vasilije Vucinic from Montenegro, Viljami Vartiainen from Finland, and a freshman, Neol Howitt, is from Japan.
So Griffin is going to get his free throw first.
Right.
And then O'Neal should be getting a pair of free throws. So the Bengals could make up 3 points right here.
So Isaiah Griffin misses the free throw, and I guess they...
No foul? Was there no foul on...
Well, they have 3 on the board for Chu, so I don't know what happened. Either way, it's a 9-point game. The Bengals miss another free throw, and Weber State has the ball up by 9. Vucinic puts the ball on the ground, trying to back down Evan Otten. Bangs him pretty hard, and Evan does a nice job of standing his ground, but then he joined the paratrooper club, got in the air, and Vucinic made him pay with his 9th point of the half and his 15th of the night.
Yeah, we said that was one of the keys. The Bengals have to defend the Weber bigs, and Vucinic has really put on a show tonight.
Hollenbeck looking for Isaiah. Now he's got him. Isaiah Griffin holds out on top. Connor Hollenbeck again wide on that left side. Down to 8 to shoot. And the ball is going to be tipped, and it actually went off the official. Ames and stayed in bounds. Koehler able to track it down.
But the Bengals steal it from behind.
They do, and here is Dylan Darling. That 3-ball looked a little short. It rimmed out, and the rebound comes to Vucinic. Brad mentioned earlier Vasilije Vucinic transferred from the University of Portland.
Portland.
A pilot.
Yes.
Here's Koehler, wide left. Darling up in his grill. Lob it inside. Vucinic now dumps it off to Chu. Chu with a spin move, and that's good. And boy, the bigs have just really done a job tonight. Yeah. That's now 9 points on the night for Chu. And I said, I think 16, 17 for, make it 15 for Vucinic. So 22 tonight. A third of the points come from the bigs. And Dylan Darling trying to do all he can. He attacks off the dribble on the left side. And got a timeout here. 3 minutes, 28 seconds left in the game. Weber up 6.
Here's Chu underneath. The Weber bigs, Chu and Vucinic, have really hurt the Bengals inside. Vucinic with 15 points. Chu with 9.
Miguel Tomley, again, every time he's touching the ball now is catching the boos. If you joined us late, the former Bengal got hit with a technical foul earlier. And Dylan Darling knocks the ball away. It was intended for Blaze Threet, but Dylan said, hey, I got that off his arm. But the official right there, Jake Hers, I should say, said nope. So, with 3:15 to go here, Weber up by 11. I mean, the Bengals are going to have to get stops and cash them in the other way. Here's Threet out on top. Darling right up on him. Good defense by Dylan Darling. Threet finally gives it up to Tomley. Tomley goes down to a knee, brings it back out, up against the shot clock, and the 3-ball not good. Jake O'Neal corrals the rebound, and if they give that to him, well, he's already got it. Jake O'Neal's got his 8th double-double of the year tonight. There is a 3-pointer that won't go. Evan Otten just being mugged down underneath, and no foul called, and then they give the ball to Weber State as it went out of bounds. And Evan was, he doesn't really say a whole lot, and he was telling Ryan Looney, he says, man, they're holding me. Looked like Vucinic had him pretty tight. Let's see. It was just before that as the ball started to come up, but either way, Bengals miss an opportunity here. They're down 11. And Blaze Threet trying to lead his Wildcats to their first Big Sky Conference win of the season. Lost by 17 at Northern Colorado. Lost by 3 at NAU. And Blaze Threet knocks down his 8th point of the half. And 15th on the night.
And that is 38 points in the paint now for Weber State, and that has been the difference.
Dylan Darling, fall away jumper, no. Rebound tipped, and Jake O'Neill's got another one. Here is a three ball the other way, no, but comes into the hands of Jackson Green as he tries to go up. It's going to be stripped. I don't know if it's going to be Koehler. Oh, nope, they're going to get it on Blaze Threet. So Threet with his fourth.
So, Scott, I think what we've seen from this Idaho State team the last couple of nights is they've really been exposed inside. They gave up 60 points in the paint to Northern Colorado. They've given up 38 points in the paint here tonight, and they're just really struggling to defend the interior right now.
Jackson Green steps up there and knocks down an ICCU free throw for his third point of the night.
The other thing that we're seeing from the Bengals is they need to find somebody else to get in an offensive rhythm right now, because Dylan Darling has basically had to carry the load tonight.
Green makes both free throws. So Jackson Green, 2 out of 3 from the stripe tonight. Bengals get it down to 11 here at 69-58, 1:58 to go. Daberco, was it Daberco? No, Jackson Green just came out. Connor Hollenbeck back in. Bengals pressuring the inbounds, and now they're going to pressure a little bit in the back court. Get it across the timeline to Tomley. He'll hand it back to the center circle, and that's going to be Blaze Threet with 1:45 to go in the game. 15 on the shot clock. Wildcats in no hurry. There's another drive and a scoop to the bucket. And they're going to call the foul, and this may be on Jake O'Neill, and it is. So Jake on the night, that's personal foul number 2, and 2 free throws coming up from Blaze Threet, who's 1 of 2 there tonight.
Threet with 13 points.
Threet got by Dylan Darling, and Jake O'Neill just a little late and might have been in the restricted area as well. So either way, it's a foul on O'Neill and 2 free throws coming up, and Blaze Threet hits the first.
Correct myself, Threet with 16 points tonight, 7 of 10 from the field. That is a very efficient night.
Yeah.
7 rebounds for Threet as well.
16 points on 10 shots. You'll take that every time. And he makes a pair of free throws here to extend the lead back to 13 at 71-58. That's been the biggest lead of the night tonight for Weber State. Vucinic comes out of there. Alex Chu back in. He'll join Bartiainen, Burris, and now into the game Sadiq Moore. First time we've seen Moore tonight. Out of Pasadena, California, a freshman. Here is Dylan Darling driving, kicking, corner, 3-ball. A.J. Bergen too short with it, and going to have a foul and a push. Foul is going to go on Nigel Burris of Weber State on a push. And let's see if that's O'Neill going to the line. I think it might be. Nope, it's going to be Connor Hollenbeck. He and O'Neill were both there. If it's a rebound, I default to Jake O'Neill.
Yeah. Jake has drawn 6 fouls tonight.
That's a stat that people don't look at maybe as much as they should,
yeah.
Right? Here's Connor Hollenbeck. Connor, first trip to the line tonight. He's a good free throw shooter as well. 81% on the season, and that ICCU free throw good for the grad student out of Rapid City, South Dakota. Might get another year with the Bengals with that new junior college NAIA rule as Hollenbeck makes both free throws here. That could also give Isaiah Griffin another year. I'm not sure about Kobe Kelly. He was at Walla Walla Community College. He's only a junior, so I don't know how much that would
Well, you
impact.
have to be in your last year.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. There's a travel on Tomley, and he gets another Bronx cheer from the Bengal faithful.
Threet comes out as Moore comes back in there. Chu and Bartiainen join Burris and Koehler on the floor. Idaho State has Darling, O'Neill, Hollenbeck, A.J. Bergen. He's in there for 3-point tries, and Evan Otten. And they're going to give the Bengals the basketball. Baseline right here. Under their own hoop on the left side of the lane with 1:24 to go. Bring it into Hollenbeck. Connor, and then a foul away from it, and they may have a hold on Sadiq Moore on Dylan Darling. And that is the case. So Sadiq Moore gets his first personal. Long ago, we passed the 10 foul total for each team.
Yes, it has been a foul fest tonight.
So 2 free throws for Darling, who stands up there with 26 points tonight, a career high. Make it 27 as he hits an ICCU free throw. Hey, how about the freshman at Duke? Cooper Flagg sets an ACC freshman record today with 42 points against Notre Dame. It was impressive to watch.
Well, he's quite a specimen, and my fingers are crossed that the Jazz somehow get lucky and get the first draft pick in the upcoming NBA draft, so they can get Cooper Flagg.
So it will be both free throws good there for Dylan Darling to make it a 9-point game. Dyson Koehler coming the other way, and trailing the play, Nigel Burris is going to get the layup. The Bengals lost him. They're going to pay, as there's going to be a foul whistled on Connor Hollenbeck, who picks up his 4th. So a chance for an old-fashioned 3-point play here for Nigel Burris, who just knocked down his 6th point of the night.
Well, it was Dyson Koehler in the first half, and Vasily Vucinic in the second half, and Blaze Threet.
Yep, and here's the replay, and Connor Hollenbeck just kind of lost him, and then with that bump, Burris able to finish, and the Wildcats just about salting this thing away, up 73-64, a 9-point lead here. Not sure what they're talking over down here. The officials checking some stuff out. Oh, the scoreboard was wrong. So, they had given, so it was 11. There you go. They put the points on the ISU side.
Wow.
So 73-62, making an 11-point lead, and make it 12 as Burris, I should say, completes the original 3-point play opportunity. We've got 75 seconds left here. Bengals in a hole by a dozen. They trailed by as many as 13. Dylan Darling trying to spin inside it, and he gets hit, and he's hurt, and you could hear it. He hurt his finger, and this does not look good. He went immediately over to our team, the ISU team doctor, and our view is a little bit obstructed here. I thought I heard it. I thought I could hear something when he drove in there. Hopefully it's just kind of a sprain or a jam. And I think we've got a timeout with 1:01 to go. We probably hold it right here. Let's wait and see what we've got. When they came down to the other end, the shot was missed. Let's take a look. It's when Dylan Darling drove in right there, and you really couldn't see it, but he immediately grasped his right hand, it looked like.
Yeah.
He looks, I'm watching him right now, close eye on. Bengal fans will hope and keep their fingers crossed, no pun intended, that that's not a long injury or a broken finger. Ball comes into Nigel Burris, ball knocked away by Jake O'Neal. ISU Bengal basketball support comes from Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Pocatello, assisting the boys and girls clubs of Southeast Idaho. With every assist the Bengals make this season, Lithia will make a donation to the club. And got another quick timeout on the floor here. 59 seconds remaining, and are they going to review that? I think they're going to review that to see if it indeed deflected off of Nigel Burris.
They can only review out-of-bounds plays in the last 2 minutes of the half and the game in this program.
Isn't that impressive? I mean, that kind of, against a rival especially, that's pretty impressive. So they call, the ball stays with Weber State, and there's the foul as Jake O'Neal is going to reach around from behind there and try to poke that away, but caught Blaze Threet. Jake O'Neal will pick up personal foul number 3. Send Blaze Threet back to the line.
Blaze Threet is an impressive player. He's one of the better guards in the Big Sky Conference. 17 points tonight, 7 of 10 from the field, 7 rebounds. He does miss a free throw there. A couple of assists. He's a good one.
Blaze Threet, third in the Big Sky Conference in points per game, coming in here tonight at 16.9. So not going to go up very much, but he'll stay in that range. Well, Trent McLaughlin is the guy down at NAU averaging better than 23.
Yeah. And he's also going to improve his field goal shooting percentage. Came in shooting 51%. He's 7 of 10 tonight.
missed both free throws. Bengals back on the attack. Here's A.J. Bergen. He'll trigger a 3-ball. That's left short. A.J. hasn't been able to cash in tonight from downtown. Yeah. And now with 40 ticks left, Bengals are not going to foul, but they force Weber State to take a timeout, which would leave them with 2. Financial support for Bengal Athletics comes from Project Filter, reminding listeners that smoking and vaping increase the severity of respiratory diseases, including COVID-19. For more information, go to projectfilter.org.
Idaho State 5 of 24 from three-point range tonight. 20.8%. You're not going to win a lot of games.
Well, and they shot nearly 45% from three-point range in that game against Northern Colorado last Saturday night. So, yeah, tonight they just weren't dropping for the Bengals. Weber State, Dyson Koehler was on fire. I'm looking down the lane, or looking down the bench there at Dylan Darling. I don't see a whole lot going on. It doesn't look like he's going to come back into the game. I couldn't tell if he had any sort of an ice pack or anything on that left hand.
Yeah. Weber State, by the way, was 7 of 16 from three-point range. Most of those came from Dylan Koehler in the first half.
Yeah, he was 5 of 5, right?
Yeah, they were, and they made 6 threes in the first half. They've only made 1 here in the second half, but they've changed their emphasis and they've attacked the paint in the second half, and the Bengals have just not been able to stop Vucinic, Chu, and company in the paint.
So Dyson Koehler will play it in under the Bengal basket here in the backcourt on the right end of the floor. And that ball tipped away, and it could not be controlled by Burris. It went off of him, and so Idaho State will get the ball down by 12 at 74-62 with 40 seconds left, and Jaden Brown going to check back in. He's a three-point specialist. Isaiah Griffin will take a break. It'll be Quentin Meza at the point guard. He'll stay in there the remainder of the game here with that little hand situation with Dylan Darling, which we hope, Bengal fans hope, is not a long-term thing. There is a three-pointer put up, not good. Connor Hollenbeck tipped it. Jake O'Neal with another rebound. Brings it out to Meza. Here's Brown, right wing, and that 3-ball is good. And that's a Mountain America Credit Union three-pointer for Jaden Brown to get the Bengals to within 9, 23 seconds left. Bengals really pressuring the inbounds. Weber State might have to call a timeout, but no, they just throw it off of a Bengal. Mountain America Credit Union supports ISU Athletics. MACU helping guide members through life's financial journey and donating $50 to Operation Warm in East Idaho for every Bengal three-pointer this season. Lob pass out near the timeline comes to Burris, and Connor Hollenbeck has to take the foul, and that'll be 5 on Hollenbeck, I believe. Yep. So Hollenbeck will foul out. Nigel Burris will go back to the free throw line tonight, where he's got 7 points and 3 of 3 on those freebies. So we talked about how well the Bengals had shot free throws, but boy, it didn't really shine through tonight. Although they now, as you look at it, they're at 71%, 17 of 24. So in the last 4 or 5 minutes, it's kind of come back to them.
Yeah, too late though.
Yeah.
They had an opportunity to stay in this game at the free throw line and just didn't take advantage of it.
Burris misses the first free throw as A.J. Bergen checks back in here for Idaho State. Hey, before we get out of this thing tonight, we're going to send our thoughts out to all the folks in Southern California, Los Angeles area, and those horrendous fires. I asked A.J. Bergen, who's from San Diego, I said, do you have family in the Los Angeles area? And he says, I do, but fortunately they are all in good shape and okay. But boy, just devastation down there. Here is Jake O'Neal drawing contact as he takes the shot up. They're going to call the foul on Dyson Koehler. That's his 4th. And they're going to bring in. Oh, that is 5. Okay. There's 1 behind, and the board was 1 behind. They've got him just with his 4th, but.
Well, while we have an opportunity, Scott, I would also like to pass along my condolences to the family of Judge Peter McDermott, who passed away this week. Judge McDermott was 85 years old, and Judge McDermott was one of the prominent lawyers in this town and also one of the prominent district judges for many, many years.
Yes, he was. And that free throw by Jake O'Neal will not find the bottom of the net. And boy, Jake has struggled from the free throw line tonight. 3, 4, 7. And Jake has not been a fantastic free throw shooter. He was at about 69%, and this one's going to be flat and long. It rattles around and finally drops in. I don't know if you can have a shot hit as much rim and glass as that one did and still go through the hoop. And there is a steal. Here is a 3 ball. Jaden Brown can't get it to go. Jackson Green with the rebound and then tied up by 3. And I think possession belongs to Idaho State. So Nigel Burris back in. So they do an offense. They're doing offense defense switches here, it looks like. Meza lobs it into Jake O'Neal. Here is Jaden Brown in the paint. Fall away jump shot. That's good. And Jaden Brown with 5 points.
I think Jaden Brown's going to be a pretty good basketball player for Idaho State before he's done.
Bengals down 7. Vucinic is going to make it 9 with a 2-hand flush, and then he hung on the rim, gets banged with a technical. Vasilije Vucinic, and Nigel Burris is like, dude, what are you doing? So Vucinic gets the bucket. That'll be the second technical foul on Weber State tonight. And Jaden Brown will toe the line for 2 free throws here. So it's 77-68 with 2 seconds left here. And the free throw good by Jaden Brown.
Now, the final score is going to look closer than it really was, but Weber State has controlled this game pretty much the entire second half. Idaho State got within about 5 at one point and then just could not control the Weber State bigs.
Jackson Green, that long inbounds play. They tried to throw it down. He was going to kick it out to Brown, I think, for a 3, and he just couldn't control it. Went down, and that'll do it. As final score going to be the Weber State Wildcats 77 and the Idaho State Bengals